How's it going?
Good, are you?
Yeah, good, good. It's starting to feel a bit more normal now. The trading conditions here after we've
Yeah, I mean, this is a textbook Mode 2 range. I mean, I know it's been a little bit since we've had practice with it, but this is definitely the best of best conditions
Mhm.
for two-way trading is when we're in these pretty clearly defined Mode 2 ranges where you know where your supports are, where your resistance is, everything in between is going to be kind of slaw. And so the best is to wait on the edges, and especially, wait for the traps of the edges.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly what we got yesterday. The failed breakdown we've been waiting for all week since Sunday's open, and the gap down low from Sunday. So yeah, yesterday we basically traversed the full range. Didn't quite make all-time highs on ES. We did on SPX and then failed. Flushed down through the entire 100 point range. Put in a failed breakdown of 70.85 at the bottom, and then we've just been trending higher up overnight, and actually have traversed the full range again and put in actually a failed breakout on ES, and have now dipped back out into range, and we're just kind of holding around the point of control for this whole consolidation slash bull flag that we've been in all week. Um, so yeah, some nice action we're getting after a fairly tricky, well, prior weeks, at least tricky for me. Um, so yeah, plan for today then. Um, Not a huge amount to do up here. I think the first level of interest, actually it's not showing up on my 30-minute chart, but the on the 15 here, we got this 71, 35, 36 cluster of a couple of lows. So that'll be what I'll watch. I would just note that's like bang slap in the middle of this range though. So do need to be a little bit careful with it, especially as we've had a nice trend move overnight. Just be wary that we could degenerate into a little bit of sideways consolidation here. So if we are doing that, I probably won't touch that level. But if we do get a nice kind of high volatile, scary, clean flush of that and recovery, then yeah, certainly look to engage there. Any thoughts on the 71.36? I think you added it to your list this morning, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, pretty much same thoughts as you. Obviously, the risk is, like we just talked about, right? It's in the middle of a range, which, makes it a little tricky. It could sometimes, be a little harder to trade, but if you get that high volatility elevator flush down and a nice recovery, either with some good acceptance or the non-acceptance protocol, then definitely a valid trade to take. As usual, it's Friday, so if you've had a green week, please protect your profits on the week. Try not to go green to red on the week. But besides that, yeah, I think it's definitely a valid entry.
Mm-hmm. For me, there I'd be looking for that 71.25 level to hold. That was the first support down. Well, actually, the first support, I don't have it marked, but I think he had 29 as the first support down, but looked to play the failed breakdown of 25. That technically triggered like right around the close yesterday. And that was identified as being pretty low quality anyway. So, with it being low quality and having already played out, I'm personally not interested in the 71.25 level, but I would be looking for that to hold to see if we can recover the 71.36 if we do get a dip here. And that for me is kind of a line in the sand for nothing beneath the 25 until we get down to potentially a failed breakdown of yesterday's low. Um, which looks like a really good quality failed breakdown. It is maybe a little less lower quality than it might appear, just because we put in the failed breakdown of 85, kind of right in the same zone here yesterday, so it's not completely fresh. So just be mindful of that. But still a good one for sure. Um, Anything for you in between the 36 and the 70-80 level, Mike?
So I know we did have that 71-25 failed breakdown, that kind of played out a little bit at the close yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We have a low now there at 71-22, and then also a little bit of a shelf at that 25 to 29 sort of area. There's a bit of a shelf there.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a little trickier. I would still mark it as something to watch. But it may just be a little trickier because we have a couple of lows right above us. We now also have the 35 above us. So because of that, it can be a bit tricky. So that's the only thing I would say about that. So while it's valid, just know the execution of it may be a little tricky. I know yesterday, a lot of us were talking about the same thing in the middle of a range yesterday, where there were basically a bunch of lows spread apart from like 71-16 to 71-30, and it kind of made it tricky in terms of knowing which shelf to wait for, which one to not wait for. So that to me is always a bit of a trickier thing to play.
Yeah, when you've got like multiple stacked lows, all sort of less than 6 points apart, so you don't really have the ability to kind of get a trim before hitting the next level. It's definitely tricky. Okay, so and then beneath the 70-80, we've still got the 70-58 as a level on the chart to watch out for. Obviously, that one's completely fresh, but that was from kind of the journey up last week. On Thursday, we set a low there in the afternoon session. So be watching out for that one. If we fail beneath yesterday's prior low, maybe put in a small bounce there, but continue down. Bear case is triggering at 70.92. I think that's about it. But yeah, it is a little bit thin once we start getting here beneath 71.20. Are you a volume profile guy at all, Mike?
No, I haven't really played around with it myself. I know plenty of people that do, and do quite well with it. I just haven't really ever learned it, to be honest.
Yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up on the screen here because kind of the levels line up pretty nicely. You can sort of see the final high volume node there. Actually, I'm
Mm.
not showing the value area on this particular one, but right beneath the 71.20, 25, it gets pretty thin. A little bit of a bump here around 70, 90-ish, 95 to 100, and then obviously that's the bottom of the range there.
Well, it's funny how it kind of coincides, with um, just our reads and our levels as well, in terms of, below there it would trigger the bear case and failure of failed breakdown, and then it would turn sell algo on. And
For
so
sure.
a lot of these things, a lot of times, it's there's different kind of processes and ways, but you're kind of ultimately a lot of times coming to the same end result and conclusion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can't seem to delete it now. Alrighty.
But I'll be jumping on at noon for anyone interested. Just maybe for 30, 40 minutes or so. Going to kind of if anyone has some specific trades they want to go over, my goal is I'm probably going to use that time to trade replay a couple of trades from the week. So if anyone has any suggestions or any trades in particular that they kind of would like to walk together through live, in terms of maybe where they executed it versus where Adam got in, I'm very open to doing that. I think it's pretty good practice to kind of, go ahead and keep putting in reps if the day itself isn't giving us a failed breakdown.
Nice. Yeah. You said at noon today, Eastern.
Yep.
Yeah, noon Eastern, 11 o'clock Central.
I believe that's what vote. Hold on, I believe that's what won the vote. Let me check. Yeah, yeah, noon Eastern.
Cool. Okay, guys, watch out for that. Join if you can. I personally won't be able to make that one today, I'm afraid, buddy. But guys, have a good chat. All right, open here in 5 minutes. So let's go and see what happens. Wait for the same story as usual. Wait for the flush. Be caution of consolidation here in the middle of the range, and just follow the process when we get to our key levels. All right, thanks everyone. Catch you in the chat. Bye for now.